because there are some stalls who, by it's lunchtime, everyone's gone, and they've left for you flyers at exactly 4:35. Gone. If they bring people from Nigeria, right? Nigerians are not as likely, I should say, not that they're not likely, but they're not as likely to market to Nigerians as, for example, someone from Europe or someone from the Americans.
Hey, welcome to Destination 256, your go-to destination for all things tourism in Uganda. Today, this is not a normal episode or a normal program we've been having. This is a dedicated podcast or episode for the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. We are trying to make sense of what is the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. We're having the 9th edition. What has been the change from that? Have we been doing business? Are we doing business as normal, or we're just playing? And everything that with me here, I have two ladies in the sector of tourism. I don't know how long they've been there, but I know it's long. They'll be sharing their experiences, and I'm sure they have spent quite enough time in this sector, and they have been attending the previous POATEs. And you're most welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I think I'll start from my right. You introduce yourself, talk about what you do, and yes.
Okay, thank you for having me. My name is Shiela Kogo Malenga. I represent Lodge Solutions. We are a one-stop shop hospitality provider. So we do everything from lodge training for the staff. We also partner with lodges to help them to market, but we do not market you until we vet that your services meet the criteria, whether it's on sustainability, whether it's on UTB certification, because many of these are new entrants into the market. But we also work with those lodges that have already set up, and maybe second generation is now coming in and wanting to do new things, Gen Z. So those are always fun projects because they come with a new energy into the property. So we really do focus on hospitality and tourism, and specifically lodges, remote lodges, because they tend to have most of the challenges.
Nice to have you. It's
Thanks for having
already
me.
interesting story there. And a lady on my left, Nina.
Yes, my name is Nina Karungi. Should I look at you? Should I look there?
No way.
I don't know if this is visual, if this is audio, so tell me.
It's audiovisual.
So
You
both.
can look any side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Nina Karungi. I work with Sites Travel Limited. We're a tour and travel company. We've been in business for about 17 years. We're one of the oldest.
17 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have worked with them for about 5 years, on and off. And we offer everything related to tours and travels. We do inbound. Inbound means we get clients from overseas, from Africa and Europe and the Americas, and we bring them in to experience Uganda. We do outbound. That means we take people like you, Zenedine Zidane. We take you to wherever your dream destination is. We have a fleet of vehicles. We offer them to companies, but we also do, for tours, we have our safari vehicles, we have general vehicles. If you want to hire a car from us, we can do that. We also do self-drive. We have air ticketing. We are IATA certified. IATA is the international body for ticketing, and in order for you to sell tickets in this country, in any country, you have to have that certification. So we do air ticketing, anything to do with tours, travels. We also do MICE, meetings, incentives,
conferences, events.
Yes, so we are kind of like the full package. Yeah, so that's what I do. That's where I work. I work as the sales and marketing executive.
And I'll start with you
I didn't even
there.
say.
You've talked about mice, and we're here because of mice. POATE falls under events, exhibitions. To you, what is POATE? Is POATE the way it's supposed to be?
I feel like that question is not a fair question, because what am I comparing it to? first of all. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. When you think about the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, you're thinking that we are showcasing Uganda. Its glory, its grandeur, its beauty. So you expect our food, you expect hotels, you expect our dress code, you expect all of that to be showcased, right? Now, the POATE usually does that. We are successful. We have people like me,
tour operators.
Yes, tour operators. We come, we showcase this country, and we are showcasing it to people who are not from this country. So POATE is supposed to invite people from over the world to come and see what Uganda is all about.
Those are the ones called hosted buyers.
Hosted buyers, right? Because we're hosting them, and they're coming to buy what we're trying to sell. And their purpose is to come, network with us, meet with us, connect with us, and try to see if we can do business together. So it's a business to business venture, right? The hope is that if it's a hotel, that hotel will meet this hosted buyer, and this person will want to bring their clients to that hotel. If it's a tour and travel agent, the hope is I will meet with that business, and we will create some kind of understanding, a contract, an MOU, where they will give me clients, and I will do for them if possible, what my clients would want to be done for them in their country, I will do for them in my country, right? Take them, do everything for them because they're not in this country, right? If it's what other companies usually here? It's usually hotels. It's usually services. For example, if it's like rafting, for example, you want them to know that we have rafting in this country. If it's a river,
the quad bikes, all the adventure,
these game parks, they will come and say, we have this, I want you to know about all of this. And what they usually do is, before they come for the expo, they have what they call a farm trip. A farm trip is a familiarization trip. You will be taken to a place, for example, one of the parks, Queen Elizabeth or Bwindi or Murchison Falls, to actually experience the place. You experience the hotel, you experience the culture, the community, you experience everything, so that you actually have an idea. It's better to know what you're selling. You're more likely to sell what you know than what you don't know. So they're trying to familiarize you with what we have here in Uganda. So that's what they do first. There's a pre-familiarization, and then there's one after. So what is POATE supposed to do? It's supposed to connect us, right? It's supposed to connect me to that person that I would otherwise never have met, right? So usually these things are quite successful. You are told to there is a portal where you're supposed to sign up, register, and then invite people to come to your booth, because imagine we are more than 1,000, I think. Correct. Right? We're more than 1,000 people from multiple services, millions of services, right? So you have to choose how many people to meet. So you go to this portal, you choose who you need to meet, because you get to choose, right? Because you're like, okay, so I want someone from America. Let me look for this person who is from America. This might be a potential business.
That's the matchmaking.
Yes, matchmaking, right? Let me see if I can talk to someone from Morocco. I don't have a partner in Morocco. I need someone from Morocco. So let me see if I can meet someone from Morocco. So you go to that portal and you pick whoever you want to meet. So usually it's supposed to be that the onus is on you, because you have to matchmake, and you have to matchmake right, for that to be successful. So that burden is usually on you. That's the purpose of POATE. Their job is not to make sure that I have met this one. I go onto this site and say, this is who I want to meet. They're just creating the venue and the opportunity for me to meet these people. The question is, do they bring the right people? Right? I'm not answering the question. I'm asking, do they bring the right
that
people?
Question actually was coming. Are the posted buyers the right people you are supposed to have to come to Uganda? Because if you say you need people from the US, are they bringing the people with actually the business from the US, that they will be able to give you the business after you having that chat and getting to that agreement with them?
I'll answer it this way. I attended another expo somewhere, and it's one of those really really big expos, and when it was my first time going there, and I was like so disappointed. You know, you go, you meet people, and they're like, yeah, we don't know you. Well, yeah, next time. And so I was telling someone like, getting business from these expos is really hard. I was talking to them at that expo, and they're like, no, actually, what happens at expos? You need to attend an expo at least 3 times. These people need to see you at least 3 times for them to give you business. So I'm thinking a hosted buyer might have to come to this place multiple times to want to actually sell this country. Some hosted buyers take the opportunity to visit a country, but they not with no plan to sell it. How do they sieve out the serious business people who actually want to make money? I don't know, right? But they keep bringing different people. It makes sense because they're trying to market and expose as many people to Uganda. But the likelihood, for example, I'm not being disparaging, but I'm saying that if someone from an African country, for example, someone from Nigeria, is less likely to sell Uganda than someone from America is. Realistically, Nigerians are not interested in what Uganda has to offer. They're interested in 5-star, high life, Dubai, Qatar, Saudi
but
life, right? In terms of holiday, they're not as interested in gorilla trekking. You understand? They're not interested in wildlife.
But isn't that eliminated?
They're not as interested. I'm just comparing.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to sure.
You do agree with me?
I'll wait. Yes, my perspective is completely different.
It's a conversation.
Because
You can,
No, I think you can.
you can come in and
okay, let me start
give
by
your
this.
thought.
I started my career at Great Lakes Safaris. I worked there for 7 years, and I attended all the expos. I used to be with Amos Wakesa, my director at the managed CEO at the time, but over time I could handle it by myself. And like she says, yes, every country has a different way in which they match you on the portal. Also, how early they start to market it is very key, because the earlier the hosted buyers can know this show is happening, the better. So from my perspective, at least from the safaris, when I was doing it with Great Lakes, I felt it was Uganda in general. You have to, if you want to succeed in Uganda, you have to be extremely aggressive. Like you say, those portals, I don't even wait to match. What I would do, I would literally write to every single person. Whether it take a week or 2, I always went out of the portal and I actually wrote direct emails. So my experience with these expos is actually quite different. I actually tend to do relatively okay, but not because of the planners, whatever it is. I just make sure I find a synergy. I make sure I find, because at the time I was employed, so your flight, your accommodation, even here you've left office for 3 days. How are you going back to account and just say, I came back with a free bag and a free key holder? So I think some of the things also, it's on you. Like I don't leave any opportunity without something. If it's on you, right? And if you train your staff to make sure, give them, like some of us now have that strategy of what to do or how to do it, and not make the email like too lengthy, attach 1,000 things. Like make it catchy, make it short and to the point. I'm here, looking forward to see you. Do your homework on them, do your research. There's no need for me to ask you, are you already selling Uganda in Kenya? When I can I should already have checked on your website. So I maybe different perspective. I also had because I had lodges as well. So lodge life is different because yes, the tour company is seeking the hosted buyers. Fair enough. But the lodges, strategically for me, Primate Lodge, Elephant Plains, Budongo, Simba, all these lodges My direct market is actually site travel. It's actually the tour companies that are coming to the show. So me, I love it. Absolutely love seeing tour companies. Yes, them they cry sadly that the hosted buyers maybe it could be a hit or miss. But me, I have to do farm trips for lodges. I have to like physically get in a car and go to every tour company in Kampala and Tebe, Kenya. Hi, do you know this lodge in Bwindi? Do you know this lodge in Murchison? We have fantastic service. We've trained the staff. Like I said, I now then opened the company Lodge Solutions, which I'm now the founder, CEO of. Jackie here is my lead GM. So my perspective on this show for a lodge is different. My target market is the tour operators. I save my fuel instead of going around to meet you in person. Instead of sending my staff who might not say everything about the lodge or forget, I get to meet the people who are really selling Uganda. And then I give them product to then better present to the hosted buyers. So I give you a good picture. I make sure by the time I come to the show, all the lodges I represent have good pictures. They have a storyline. They have conservation. They have sustainability. Because I know what the hosted buyer wants. Because of when I was working at Great Lakes, of course, I would hear what the kind of questions they had. So me, I try provide the tour companies the information that they need to make their pitch stronger. Because if you're going to present Uganda and you have not high resolution pictures, we don't have a website. Like you're saying, oh, these are some of the good properties in Uganda. And you can't even like whatever pictures you're showing, they're like crap or they're like 1900. So for me, I aim to meet you. I aim to meet the site travels. I tend to meet UA.
So for you, your matchmaking is actually more of the tour operators than even the hosted buyers.
However, the hosted buyers still come to the stand. Why? I'm also very intentional about how we design our stand. I hope you've been there. So I'm very intentional to make it like homey. And with that, they do come. They've been coming. And you hear their feedback on the itineraries they're going, the lodges that whoever is selecting. From my point of view, my feedback on that is that they've had some challenges, it seems, with this farm trip that they do. From their feedback to us, and we've met quite a few this and even last time, actually I've been at POATE, I think 4 times on my own as my Lodge Solutions company, but also with Great Lakes I was there for 7 every year, 7 years. So in total it's been 10 years of these expos. And constantly there's always a miss in the selection and the itinerary planning of the farm trip. So which means sometimes why they don't even end up selling, I think, when you hear their feedback is, for example, one of the ladies told us yesterday or today, one of the lodges she went to, she didn't get a welcome towel. She didn't get welcome juice. Then another one told us she got to a certain lodge and there were buffaloes. But no one briefed her that there are buffaloes at this lodge. So she's leisurely walking to a room and then a staff shouts, oh, stop, there's 2 buffaloes like in front of you. Now those things traumatize them, right? So she's in her head, it's indeed her first time. I could argue that maybe they should have vetted that maybe it's her second. But if the experience is also flawless, even if they haven't yet, but if more care was taken to do their farm trip properly. I'm Kenyan, I moved to Uganda, but the person who took me around Uganda, I felt like, oh, this is a beautiful country. I can stay here. But I meet other Kenyans who've come in, they're like, oh my God, Uganda is so disorganized. It's so slow. It's so this. So it's all about who holds your hand as you're coming into the country, who's making their itineraries, who's planning for them before they come. So for me, my advice for POATE would be if they could get more people in the private sector, people talk to lodges. A welcome towel in 2025 should be a standard across the board. For them to tell me that we don't have welcome towels, I'm like, no, they're lodges, like like there are lodges that exist that do these things. So yeah, I just think a bit more support with the planning of the hosted buyers could also help the tour operators get more business for them, or at least it's easier to convince them, and then in the end we as lodges also benefit from that business. Yeah.
Nina, because now Sheila now is pointing every question now to you.
Okay.
All right.
Because you are her target.
My supplier. Yes, I need her to be happy.
Exactly.
Go on.
You are her target actually market.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the POATE of last year, after it, everyone was like, "Oh wow, this was top notch.
Okay.
This was good." You know,
Mm-hmm.
is that question going to be? Is that statement going to be mentioned still after?
So I think I said this before.
Mm.
Like I said, the onus of success is on you,
As a
right?
person,
When, as a company,
as a company.
business, because there's the work which is supposed to be behind the scenes first,
Correct.
right? Like when you go into the portal, you get to decide who you're supposed to meet, right? Now the bigger burden is on you. The assumption is that the event managers have done everything possible. They've brought the right people, like I was telling you before, right? Have they brought the right people for me, right? Like I said, if they bring people from Nigeria, right? Nigerians are not as likely, I should say, not that they're not likely, but they're not as likely to market to Nigerians as, for example, someone from Europe or someone from the Americans, because the Americans, the Europeans are interested in safari and wildlife. The Nigerians are not necessarily interested in in what we have to offer. So does POATE bring the right people? Now I can't answer that for them. You might have to get someone from POATE to tell you,
Mr.
"Look,
Lia's will.
right? Bring the right person to answer that question." I might not be able to do that. But speaking for me, right? In this POATE, for example, the major challenge that I met was the fact that I made my appointments. I did everything right. I did my research, like you said. I made my appointments, but my hosted buyers didn't come to me. Why? First of all, my location. I was located at last year. We were all in the
exhibition in the
hall,
Renzori,
right?
yes.
All of us were in there, so we had an equal opportunity. This year, unfortunately, there were different sections were split. There was some who were in there, and there some of us who are relegated to the poolside area. Now, those of us who are relegated to the poolside area, we were not, unfortunately, we were not added to the booklet that the hosted buyers were given. So no one knew where we were, right? So because of that, we have not had visibility, especially with the hosted buyers. I mean, all the appointments that we made, unfortunately, we haven't gotten them because of our poor visibility. And that, I would say, is not necessarily on us, because we're here. We're all here. And because I think what I know about last year, how it was organized last year, when you made an appointment, there was a program you were given, and they say like at 10
You are
meet
meeting
with
so and so,
Nina,
and
at
it's ending at this time.
10:30 you're meeting with Sheila. At midday you're meeting with this. So the client, the hosted buyer, knows that they have to be at my table, my stall at that time, and I have to sign off.
Correct.
This time it's just they were given a list of all the hosted buyers, all of them, right?
It was
And it seems
I
that
think
they
I've
have
seen
to,
a spreadsheet.
yes, exactly.
Kind of.
It seems that they have like a quota that they need to meet. They
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to meet with me, right? It seems like, it would seem, because when I was looking, I was like, well, this is a list of all the participants. This is not a list of whom he has to meet, right? So I was like, okay, that's unusual. That's not what it's been. So I think that
The
has
split,
also
definitely.
kind of been a disadvantage this time around compared to last year.
True. I
And
agree with that
visibility
completely.
on that sheet of paper with all the 1,000 exhibitors, everyone in the poolside area wasn't added.
And you know, it's funny.
Yeah,
But you know
the
what's
poolside
funny?
area was not added.
And
so
you know what's funny? So with me, who supports lodges, I push them to come for visibility to the stall, like to come to POATE, so that, remember, you're the people we want to meet. So I want to tell them, you know, go and meet this tour company, this tour company, this tour company. This year as well, I did feel a bit of because normally what I do when I have a hosted buyer, because like I say, I'm always, even when I literally stand outside my store and like, yeah, so I'm aggressive. I know I am, like I even hear it, but I mean, it is what it is. Like me, I've
It's your job.
accepted the system. They might not find me, so I make sure I find
You-
you, whether they're having coffee, even in the loo, as long as I see you're a hosted buyer, I'm with you. Now when I hear their vibe and I'm like, are you looking for this or that, I take them directly to the lodge. Like if it's a lodge, if they, whether they have a DMC, I don't know. What I do on me is, if it's a lodge I support, Entebbe Forest Lodge, for example, I know where her stand is. So once I pitch, I know if she's selling Uganda, I already know what's up. Like, would you like to meet the lodge owner and like just literally see how the lodge is? Because another thing about this show is to show them the reality of Uganda, because a lot of hotels present themselves online as this, but then on site it's not.
It's different.
So I like when they meet the lodge owners. But now when they were, some of them, price wise also, I saw that they played also with the price. Some could not afford because they're new lodges. So some of them had to be in the pavilion. Some of them, of course, to be in the main hall this year was slightly higher, which that's my other challenge.
Yes.
So, first way,
You have to walk
the
outside.
prices were different.
Correct. Yeah, there was a price change.
So there's a price increase. I think, I believe there's
Last
Double.
year, everyone paid around
This year it's double. to be-
500.
Yeah.
It's double to be in the main. So
Yes.
now I have some genuine lodges starting that are in pavilion. Now trying to get this, because the hosted by tells you, like, she's confused. She says that like, I can't see where is who. I'm overwhelmed. There are too many lodges. Like I know the tour operator has been telling me about ABCD Lodge. Like, what lodges are you working with? So at that point now I say, okay, come, I show you. Like, let me show you physically, because the stand is here. Very easy within the main hall. Even last year I did that. It was very easy. You know, they would come back, oh, that was fantastic. And they were just around each other. And it was so fulfilling for the hosted buyer, because it was reasonable. And by the time they finish with my meeting, the people I've told them, they have a lodge in Murchison, they have a lodge in Bwindi, and they sometimes now will suggest it back to their DMC and say, oh, I met this. Helps the DMC now also look for me and be like, hey, my client is talking about this. I want a farm trip. I'm like, yes, I remember meeting them. We don't give the prices. We don't cut out the tour operator ever. All we're doing is just letting them know that there's this kind of lodge. You were taken to a Protea, a big hotel. There is an intimate lodge option in the area. So if you have a big group, use Protea. But if there's a small group, there's Entebbe Forest Lodge, for example. Now this time, to walk mpaka the pavilion, then you walk back to your stand. Then another one comes. Then I try. They as well get tired. So I also, for last year, there was like lodges in one section, tour companies in one. They had
Yes.
planned the room.
Yes, that's
like
right.
this. So me introducing the lodges to the top was very easy. But this year, I completely agree with her. The visibility is a bit off side. Like you have to strain the hosted buyer.
Everyone's been mixed
To
up.
meet, yeah.
Hotels and tour companies.
There were
Service
people who
providers.
paid for to be in the exhibition hall, but they were put at the pavilion poolside,
Okay.
and they filmed later on,
Of course.
and they were taken back.
Yeah.
Did you pay for the outside space or inside space?
So this year we are working under CBI. CBI is an organization that is trying to get tour companies and hotels and every tourism related business to learn to be sustainable. So we have been doing courses with them, and so this year they hosted us. So like we are like under the
The
umbrella
umbrella of
of
CBI.
CBI this year. Like how there is the Auto, the tour operators of Uganda, Association of Uganda Tour Operators. They also have an umbrella under which there's some companies that are showcasing.
Just like the UK embassy would bring its countries and members.
It's
to
businesses,
attend.
UK businesses, to showcase under the UK embassy,
Yeah,
right? So because of that, CBI was given the pool side. So that's why we are there. So I don't know the details of of
What
how much
happened?
of what was paid or what. But what I would assume is wherever I was, I would assume I would have visibility.
Either way, yeah. No,
I
regardless.
would assume I would have visibility.
I
I
think
mean, it shouldn't matter that I am out here in the poolside. It's a good space, right? It makes sense,
beautiful.
right?
Mm.
But my visibility, there's no map, for example, saying that go right for the P section, right? If you want anyone in the P section, go right, turn right. There's no map for saying if you want to go to you want lodges,
Go,
they're
yeah.
in this
Yeah,
area.
they actually, you're right. There's no
If you want service providers,
go
go
here.
here, so that it's really easy for someone to kind of navigate. This place is huge. Well, it's not huge, but
can
it's
be.
huge.
So
right?
another thing
And
also,
it can be exhausting to find your
PP.
place. To
So-
find, you have to go from convention center, then you have to, your next up meeting might be in the next place, like 10 minutes away.
it's
a
so
bit-
true. So even there's this thing, it's a theme we have at Lodge Solutions. We call it Ubuntu, right? So Ubuntu, we worked with Dr. Ranjezi. He's one of our clients opening a lodge in Kisoro. And he's very cultural, and he has this wonderful statement he calls Ubuntu. And so this is what we do as Lodge Solutions. We're not, a UK or big or in any way like an organization like that. But we have been trusted by these lodges. So Entebbe Forest Lodge, Twiga, Great Lakes Collections, Sentema, Sipi Valley Resort. We have about 38 properties. Oh, Toro Kingdom is one of our newest. We're working with them to officially open Toro Kingdom for tourism, right? So we have all these guys who we work with, and they're also investors or business people. So they don't really know the nitty-gritty of POATE. They just ask how much, when is it? So what we have been doing is we call them out. Like I literally call every client I've ever worked with, whether I've given them a chef, whether I've given them uniform, which we do, as long as I've provided them a service and they have promoted my business or supported my business in any way, I remember them. So I have a hit list. I tell them Poate is coming. Are you in? Are you in? So by the time I'm booking a store, I book it already, like from D1 to D10. Like I have all of them. I ask them, do you want to stand alone? Do you want me to represent you? So like this year, what I've done, I'm representing about 5 or 6 under our stand today. Like in that way, I will at least looked out for them because there was no way any of them would have remembered. Anyway, would have ever remembered. Those who could stand alone, I made sure that they stood alone and at that amount because I knew main hall is where it's at. Some of them couldn't afford it, so I'm like, okay, it's fine. Why don't you guys come together? You get the money together and share a stand. So because of that, I've accepted as well. I know I always say the event organizers need to do their due diligence, do their job. But for us who have to deliver results on the people who have trusted us, I know there's no better place for a new lodge or upcoming lodge to come and meet the realities of what it means to run a property in this country. Because as advisors to lodges, we tell them these small things like we need warm towels, we need juice, and they say no, we need 3-course meals, and it's nothing glamorous. If anything, it's even cheaper. When a client eats 3 small meals, they get fuller. But a new lodge owner believes that we are over being generous, right? But they come and they meet a complete third party. They'll meet her and she'll say, oh, so do you guys provide, what kind of services? What are the extras do the clients expect? At that moment, they're like, this is what Sheila was talking about. The welcome towel, maybe a massage after the African drive. So it gives me more leverage or credibility with them as well, because some of the SOPs I tell them to have as lodges, sometimes they're like, am I just being extra? Is it a real standard? So I love the interaction that this brings, but I'm very intentional about making that happen. So I'm coming to your store with some lodges, basically.
No problem.
But that is ending, I think,
Yeah.
today. Tomorrow it will be in the open
Yeah.
space. I hope we get business then.
Oh,
I just
cool.
wanted to say that the other people that this thing brings in is Ugandans,
Yeah.
and that's something that is we don't tend to think about, because Ugandans, we want our very own Ugandans to utilize what we have, right? I want a Ugandan to come and use me to take them to Murchison, for example, right? Or to take them to Kidepo. Maybe do they need a vehicle? Do they need me to do the booking for them? Do they need me to curate a itinerary for them for their honeymoon, for whatever? The Ugandan tourist is actually very, very important.
Correct.
And usually, what I noticed from the last years is that Ugandans come like on the last day.
Correct.
Consumer
You
day.
wait. This
Like tomorrow is a consumer day.
Right. Ugandans
And it's a
usually
Saturday
come on
as well.
Friday. They come usually towards the end of the program. So I am not really happy that it's on a weekend this time around, because I think the last one was 3 days, right? And it ended on a Friday, and it ended on a really high note. And this week I have not seen very many Ugandans coming in, right? I think they'll come in tomorrow, but because it's a weekend and it's going to be so heavy with activities, right? It's going to be, I think they have like a
concert.
No, very people are going to be interested in coming to my store when there's a concert going on, right? They're going to prioritize that fun over coming to my store. So I don't anticipate that they'll come to see me, and yet I have a very good product for them. It's called the Save for Travel wallet. I want them to come and start saving with me so I can take them for their dream trip. I wanted to
and you know what?
market that, right?
Another thing, okay, now from my perspective as well, this is a cool thing. I've been for these shows. This year was the first year they reached out for us to have. We had a speaking opportunity yesterday to speak to investors, which I'd never really thought about like that, right? And I heard Uganda Wildlife Authority welcoming investors to take on to come and take concessions, and I always used to think concessions are so like to be the expatriates or this and that, but I can start to see there's a shift, and for sure if we had more Ugandans, because our theme as a company is Buy Uganda, Build Uganda,
right.
she can definitely, all my staff and myself can confirm they are all investing. That's why our business is actually working, because of the shift we're seeing, that Ugandans are actually not just traveling, but actually, let me put something. How much are those things? How much is a cottage? We're starting to get such questions. We're starting to get things like, I want to extend my house. I want to change now my house to be an Airbnb. Airbnbs have also become a thing now. So we're actually starting to see it's no longer. We don't even get a lot of support by expatriates in terms of Lodge Solutions services. They're very they take care. I don't know how
self-sufficient.
They'll do, whether they'll bring people from South Africa, whether they'll bring their crockery from wherever. They're very, I guess, more financially able or better planned or have more experience. I don't know. But we're having a very good interest growing now from the Ugandans. So even for me, I would love them to come, because we're trying to show them it's not this big thing that is crazy to invest in. You don't have to buy a lodge. Doesn't mean to make a lodge. You don't have to bring in tiles from Italy. You can use wood, a wood surface. There's now micro topping. There are very many local solutions that don't have to take your lodge or your lodge construction into. And with sustainability now, you don't even have to cut trees. Like you can literally build around it. It now becomes a plus. I can price your lodge slightly higher because there's a tree going through it. Whereas before, someone tell you, my land, I have land, but it has so many trees. Then I'm like, oh my God, yes, we want that. We'll just cut a small section where we'll put the cottage in. But other than that, we're going to try and do like tree planting when the guests start to come, so we return it. So for me as well, part of my target market for sure, if not my biggest.
Your primary target.
Yeah, if anything, is the
That's
Ugandans,
right.
and slowly breaking it down on, you don't have to have a 50-room lodge. You can start, and that's what we specialize in, is intimate. So we have properties that have 4 rooms.
Boutique.
And now for us also that means the staff, you may be dealing with 6 staff, very manageable, very easy to teach, and very easy for them to also immediately, effect it. But when you talk about the big properties, they
I think Nina, talk about that product you have for Ugandans. because now that's when we are hitting into domestic tourism.
Right.
And someone was saying they marketed POATE this time around as a domestic event.
Mm.
And if you say you've not seen a lot of Ugandans, then I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, what have they been doing with marketing?
No. So like I said earlier, we kind of have to take, I mean, the POATE is important. We actually need it.
Yes,
right?
we do.
What little we can get, we will take. I
I
mean,
mean,
think about the brand visibility alone that we
Yeah.
get, right?
Yeah,
The,
true.
the number of times, if I come here 6 times, 7 times, and every time someone comes, they're like, Sites Travel Limited, Sites Travel Limited. That stays in their heads, right?
Correct.
That just alone is selling me somehow, somewhere. Like I said to you, if you have to attend these things multiple times for someone to take you seriously,
100%.
right? You can't just come the one time. And these people, for example, when there is a bride, what's it called? The
Bride and groom.
bride and groom expo.
Mm.
People go there every year because every year they're hoping to be a bride, right? And if I see Bake For Me this year and I see Bake For Me next and I see Bake For Me the third year and they look like they're growing, I'll be like, Bake For Me is serious. I might use Bake For
Let
Me.
me try.
Right?
Let me
But
try
if I
their
see
services.
Bake For Me just that one time I go there and like, oh, they're
Then they
good.
disappear,
And then the
then you
next
see
time I
again.
go there, they're not there, and the next time I go, they're not there. Like,
You
well,
you
that wasn't
find
a serious
BKK.
business.
Yeah.
So there is a brand visibility thing that we actually get from POATE. Whether or not we get these people coming to us,
Yeah.
there's a brand visibility
Correct.
of being taken serious in the industry. So
Correct.
that alone is worth a lot. It's worth more than digital marketing, for example, because I'm showing people that within my industry
Yeah.
that I'm a contender. Take me seriously, and that makes it's worth something. There's value there. So POATE has its advantages, right? I'm networking. You see, now I've met Sheila.
Now I've met Nina.
Where was I going to meet Sheila? Right? I'm talking about I'm meeting their new lodges. Every time you come here, you
There's
find a new
something.
lodge. You're
True.
adding it to your repertoire, and
True,
you're just widening your portfolio. That's a big deal. That's good. There's no way I'm going to go through the entire country to find out what new
lodges
hotels there are. And there are always new hotels, and there are always new services, and there's always something new. This is the place to get that. So there is that advantage. You can't get that anywhere, especially for Ugandan, right? So there's that advantage as well.
It's like an exposure without travel. It's
Yeah,
like you're being
right. So
exposed
so
to-
you're getting more than just hosted by us. Of course, that's the end, business to business. You want that, but even if I don't get it, there's more I'm getting, right? I'm still getting. There's an advantage here.
100%.
And then what else? There is also
Oh, I wanted to add. Can I add to you?
Sure.
You know when you talk about the Nigerian, I have this strategy. Okay, maybe I'm oversharing. I'm joking. But no. I mean, knowledge is for
Yes,
sharing. Yeah?
absolutely,
Knowledge is
yes,
power.
yes.
So I've also maybe I've found a way to speak to this. I don't know, but they are Nigerians. There's even a Ghana gentleman, Kogo, my new good friend. We're going to Ghana anyway. But they are set up in their countries. They also go to the States, to the UK. They go for tourism shows.
right.
So they get clients who come, and those clients tell them, okay, now I've done West
Nigeria,
enough.
right.
I'm thinking of going to the East.
to
Do you
the
have
East,
any connections in the East? And the guy says, instead of like going to a random and like just Google East Africa tour companies, he now remembers, oh yeah, there was Nina, Sites Travel, who does this. Oh, Sheila talk about this lodge. Let me tell Nina to connect. Let Nina help me get to the lodge Sheila had said. And then Nina talks to Sheila and makes sure Sheila has all the information to make sure that trip goes well. Birthdays, time of arrival, So it's like a three-way partnership.
Right, that's
Four
right.
actually,
That's-
because he will get whoever is getting from wherever. Because he told me, he goes for all the US, all the all those whatever expos they have that side, and then he gets that traffic for West. But some of them then are now trying to figure out
What
they're done with the
next,
West.
right.
What next? And which shows even us, we should also now be sharp to be like, eventually. Maybe even us will be getting in the East, and then we do it so good that they're like, "Do you have any connections in the West?"
Yeah.
And then we're like, "Okay, now the synergies start to
Right.
Ubuntu. Scratch your back, I scratch yours."
Yes.
But
I
yeah.
get it. Yes, Nina, the product you have for
Oh yes.
Ugandans?
I'm sorry. I
That was
actually
the
did.
question. Yeah.
Don't side.
No, it made me remember
Don't sidetrack.
about the
Yes, the product that we have at
Mm.
Sites Travel. First of all, we are located at Serena Conference Center, first floor, suite 328, and we have a product called the Save for Travel wallet. Now, this Save for Travel wallet is essentially trying to get Ugandans to go for their dream trip, honestly. So we find that usually we get their peak seasons when Ugandans contact us when they want something, they want packages, they want to travel. For example, like it's just before Easter, guys, I want to go to Dubai. Like, oh, okay, $3,000. $3,000 for how many days? That's too much, right?
True.
Christmas. Now, those are the Easter and Christmas is when we get a lot. Christmas season, November is when people begin to call us. And we're saying, look, we can actually give you this thing, but let's plan. You see, right now I have clients from the US, right? My clients who are coming in the US, I have clients who are planning for 2029.
Already.
2029. They said, no, we're coming in 2029.
Yo.
But you understand, these people plan
100%.
ahead,
Yeah.
right? If I'm talking to someone and it's a white man, he's not saying I'm coming next week. No, he's saying give me 2 years. Maybe I'll come in 2027, right? He's planning ahead. How do I get you, my brother, my sister, to do the same thing? So simple. Guess what? It helps you, because if I'm telling you, you want a Euro trip, fine.
Let's do
You
this.
need $5,000. I can get it for you, $5,000. Everything included: accommodation, transport. I will transport you from your home to the airport. Make sure someone picks you up. We're in Europe.
Yeah.
Let's say it's Amsterdam. Someone picks you up, takes you to your hotel. I make sure you have all your meals. I make sure you have all the activities. You see all the sites you want to see. Your transfer to the next country. Let's say it's France. I will make sure all of that until you get back here. The only thing I might not say is I will not give you pocket money. Right? You have to organize that for yourself. Right? And I might not maybe take care of your alcoholic drinks or your nightlife, all the money that you spend casually. That's on you, right? But I can do that for you. But I'm telling you right now, do you want to go 3 years from now? Let's start saving. Take it seriously. Do you want to? You have
I
a
do,
you
I do.
have a
Nina, you
dream.
have a client
How do I
already.
make your dream come true?
Plus
There is something
kids.
called delayed gratification. Can you sacrifice $300 a month, 100,000, 300,000, any amount of money, and say, I'll take this in 2028 with my family. I'll give myself the dream trip, right? Let me organize my accounts, right? And say, this account is for that trip. I will know, I will enjoy it. And you do something that you actually wouldn't afford every day. So that's why when we see people here, there's wazungu, when they come to Uganda, like, Mogaga wange, no.
They've planned.
No, this was actually planned, this was safe. And they go all out because they are treating themselves. Why don't we treat ourselves?
Let me ask, like a Ugandan. What if I die along the way?
Of course, that we can take care of that, honestly. We can give you your money back. Because honestly, if you're planning for 2028, I'm just keeping the money for you. I'm only going to start booking for you because, for example, flights, you can't book unless it's 6 months out. You can only buy a ticket within, I think, a space of 6 months. That's when you can actually see the system, right? So I will let you know that I am beginning to book for you. So we're doing this together, but I'm giving you a chance to save. And if you save with me, I'm not going to give it back for you. I'm not going to give it back to you when you want to take your girlfriend out. You understand? I'm taking that money and I'm saying, this is for, this is for travel, right? So I'm taking that burden or that temptation of using that money for something else. And I'm saying, no, this is for this activity strictly. So you get to have the dream trip. But if at some point you're like, no, I don't want this anymore, absolutely.
That's
they
so
say
Ugandan.
ceteris paribus. All other factors remaining constant. Definitely give you your money. I'm doing this for you, right? If you want your money back and your trip, I haven't yet booked anything. Absolutely. But if I have booked, because when I'm going to start booking, I said, now we're going to start booking. This is time to start booking, right? And I'll begin booking your flights, I'll begin booking this, I'll begin booking this, right? But let's say if it's 6 months from now, if it's a 6 month period, I'm definitely going to start booking for you now. I will start all the booking now, because the earlier you book some of these things, the more
better.
affordable they are.
Correct.
So I will start, and that's the other beauty, right? If you buy a ticket now, right, 6 months ahead of time, and if you buy it, let's say you want to travel in January, the person who buys the ticket in January will pay a different price, a different fare from what I am likely to get, because I can look into the system and make sure I get you
You're right.
a good fare.
And you know what? a
And
good
we
fare
know
is.
when I can find a good fare,
Mm.
right? Because we have the experience. So if I tell you, I can, if a ticket is usually, let's say 1400, I can get it for you at 800 at certain times. I can make sure I get you that ticket, right? So that's the advantage. So if it's a 6 month gap, I'm likely booking it as soon as I get a good deal, because that's a
Alright.
short period.
I think the time I requested for is
Over,
over.
long
Yeah,
over.
And I will ask you to give your recommendations as compared to what you've seen, what you think they can do right or better as your parting shots. That will happen the same to you, Sheila. Nina.
What they can do better? Who? Once again.
I think we are. Oh, this is going out to the ministry. Compared to, of course, what you've shared, your challenge was, but also I think there are those loopholes you've seen that they can, like, for example, I met a Kenyan tour operator who was like, I wish they labeled each and every stand, right? So that a hosted buyer comes right to my stand, you know. That was her pinpoint. That was her challenge. Yes, she was getting the traffic, but she was not getting the right people to, talk to. So, yes, the mic is yours.
What's the question again?
Your parting shots as recommendations,
Recommendations.
regards to POATE or anything tourism.
I love POATE. I love the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, because it gives me a chance to showcase what I have. I recognize that it's my burden, right? I need to do my part, but I would like to see the next POATE have give everyone a chance. Let's all be in one place. For example, that convention center, if it can take all of us, I would really like that, because it gives me an equal opportunity, right? I understand there's a financial implication. I don't know why it doubled this year, though. I mean, the services are the same. In fact, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why it doubled, but if we could all be in one place and say, like, tour and travel companies here. Or you say there are 3 locations for tour and travel. If you want tour and travel, here, and not mix them up with hotels and service providers. That has been a bit confusing. Water. Last year we were able to. There were, what are they called? Those big
Dispensers.
yeah, those dispensers, right? There were dispensers.
Partners refused to come.
Sustainability. We were bringing our bottles and we were taking water, right?
Actually, you were given bottles also.
Yeah, I guess last year, right?
Yes, last year.
Those who got bottles were lucky, but we had water, and water is life, right? Some of us now have to buy the water from
the hotel.
the hotel, and that's not okay. No, that's not sustainable, but not everyone can even afford the water.
No, water
here,
is expensive.
right? So and then I haven't seen food being showcased.
Yeah.
I've seen hotel
cuisine.
food. I've seen hotel food. I've seen some hotels showcasing their food. But it would have been nice if there was a stand that was showcasing the Rolex,
Cool.
or showcasing amatoke,
Luombo.
luombo, or and giving people a chance. Or if there was a restaurant where we could buy that kind of food and say
Local
this is
food.
only a local
Local.
food place, right? Because that's part of culture, right? We've had the
Huge
dance,
part.
right? We've had community. There's community, but where is our food,
True.
right? Where is the place that's selling the food, and where we too can go and get this food and market Uganda's food? I haven't seen that, but to be fair, I haven't seen that even before.
Yeah.
That wasn't there last year either.
Yeah.
But that's a very important aspect of Uganda's what we have to offer. Yeah. So, there's always room for improvement. Honestly, I am not trying to bring anyone down. This was really good. I like that we were able to put ourselves out there, but it was expensive. Here, I don't know. Actually, this is Lugambo. It was expensive, and we're just not in one place. I wish we had been in one place so it could have been easier to find. Yeah.
Thank you, Nina. Sheila.
But I love you, POATE. I know organizers.
I guess for me, quite the same as I think we've discussed quite a bit on the visibility and all that. So I wouldn't have met you, for example, if it wasn't for POATE. POATE for me, I mean, when I say I've done it for 10 years, and all the other, I mean, the other shows, it's not POATE for 10 years per se, but POATE for me is like a family. All these stalls, we know each other. Like we meet each other in Magical Kenya, we meet each other in Kili Fair, we meet each other at WTM, London, Cape Town. So for me, it's always a good time to also just on the flip side, the consistency. There are those consistent faces. It's good to catch up and find out how everybody's doing. I also get a lot of product knowledge when I'm here. I get to understand the expectations these hosted buyers have for lodges. I'm serving lodges. I also get to understand the challenges that the tour operators are having working between the hosted buyers and the lodges. So I get to learn. I'm the kind of person who definitely is like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. With Lodge Solutions, we also want the service providers. There's all these local crafts people are doing. Not all of them have that kind of visibility. So what we do, we have a showroom in Chaliwajala where we showcase everything sustainable. So here we've met people who are doing bamboo, cool stuff. Instead of the tour operators give a souvenir to, everyone always tries to,
Make
be
it
unique and
right.
this. And now it's so nice to meet these people and be able to give already made packages to tour operators already dealing with so much. And I just come with this ready-made package of, you can give this to your clients when they're coming, and I also normally share the same to lodges because also lodges have craft shops and stuff. So I like the mix. I do appreciate the food comment. The water now, again, even for us, because of the many years, I know what is normally hit and miss. I have strategically partnered with Quill, the glass water bottles that are being provided, and so we have water. Please come to our stand. We are sparkling and still cold with a fridge.
I saw a
But
fridge.
yes, yes. So we are a bit
You have the
strategic.
planned.
Yes, we know. I do. I
The planned
completely.
store.
I do. No, I reach out to everybody. Like I literally, there's nobody. You say no. I even tried to reach out to a restaurant, but I was trying to see if I can get. But all the logistics were just not going to work out. But yes, so I would, my parting is almost like advice to any people who are the POATE team. The processes of getting to meet apparently there were one-on-ones which some people were not aware of. So I think for me it's better communication. They have the right idea, like the speaking engagements were so cool, but I have a stand, but I don't know that the speaking is going on. Then I have to leave my stuff. Then I'm like,
You slope down.
yes, and then it's the distance. It's not just upstairs. They're telling you you're going all the way here. So I think the logistics, the communication, all that could have been slightly better planned, because there's some people who said, oh, Sheila, I didn't even know you were speaking. Where was it? And they thought it was, because now we're in the new one, but Kumbe, the speaking was in the old one. The breakout rooms for us, we broke out into, the breakout rooms was accommodation in one room, restaurant in one room, and then sustainable tourism in one room. I found that quite unfair in a way, because accommodation owners have restaurants in their hotels. I wanted them to hear what it means to run a sustainable hotel restaurant within there. They don't work in isolation. Same with the restaurants. Restaurants start as restaurants and they build into a hotel and they want to expand. I would have loved them to hear. Then sustainable tourism, you have all these cool things, community, Iwafe, Bugoma Forest, doing
All
people who are
restaurant
doing like they're
food.
doing like natural honeys and
Mm.
chilies in sustainable. Now people who are doing the products are in a different room from the restaurant. To the restaurant who so I for me I really felt that would have been a much better session if all together and get everybody to understand each other's challenges. So this is better planning and involving private sector a bit more. Maybe if they can have like a small something a year before, like now after this we do the postmortem of this and they start planning like tomorrow for next year with the people who have given such good feedback and at least some, I'm not saying everything will be fixed, but those small things of water. Last year it was just to partner with a quill, which we have direct access to, which would have definitely been able to provide. Last year we provided it, but this year the events planners changed, and I think maybe that list was not passed down. I don't know, but yeah, all these things were there. It's just that I think better planning.
Yeah, I would think also. Oh my gosh, I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, with the planning, but
I wanted to say, gosh, it's
we'll
gone.
come
My
back.
gosh.
But yes, I do thank. I thank POATE every year. My
Yeah.
team. I get to see my staff shine. Their confidence, because at some point the stall is packed, and I can't do it all. You know when you're the person who's bought that stall, you're like, that's my money. Like, oh my god, it's a lot. Like you say, it was a lot. But to see the team, confidently, one of my logistics, he just helps like to move around the crate and deliver stuff. There's a point when he was with one of the hosted buyers, and I was like, oh my god, and he did so well. And there's no way you can't talk to two people at the same time. So I think it really empowers your team. You get to see who can handle that pressure, who can't. So there are other advantages, even for me as a business owner, looking at your own team, seeing how they work as a team and come together or not, because there's some stalls who by it's lunchtime, everyone's gone and they've left for you flyers at exactly 4:35. Gone. Now me who paid this money, I wait till the askaris come to tell us to come
Get
out. So yeah, it definitely has its highs and lows, but
think-
we're
Oh
grateful.
no, I remember what. Sorry, can I say what I wanted to say?
Okay.
I wanted to talk to my fellow Ugandanese. My fellow Ugandani, please come for the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo next time. There's so much that you can learn. There's so much information you actually need, and you want to live life. You want to enjoy life. Come
Your own
and
country,
see.
Kwanzaa.
Yes. Right, there's
You
so
own
much
it.
you don't know, and there's so many new things that come up every year.
Yeah. And there's
right?
some
And
lodges
it's so
that are
sad
not.
that it's the white people and the non-Ugandans that get to see these things. You travel somewhere, it's like, oh my gosh, have you been to that whitewater rafting place in Western Uganda? And you're like, what? Is that whitewater rafting place in Western Uganda? Like, yes, why, it's Urizi or something. And you're like, oh, I didn't know. Imagine.
No,
And
it's
they
true. And
know
also
more than you.
And I also want to add to that, also with the lodges, because of course that's my baby, that's my world. They also shy away, by the way, from booking with lodges. But we do have Ugandan rates. You do support.
Absolutely.
My God, we don't know what we would ever do without. Especially like, because for sure the truth is we do have highs and low season, and we both, funny enough, the low season also for us is like
Perfect for
them. It's like so
Exactly.
it works perfectly. And for us now, who are dealing with the same Ugandans who are investing into tourism, we want to give them that confidence that don't worry, yes, build the lodge, nothing hectic,
Yeah.
because low season Ugandans will support you. In high season you'll have a mix of both. But if we can also show the numbers of domestic tourism, it also gives Ugandan investors courage to invest, because there's that fear of Ugandans don't travel, they all go to Mombasa, no one travels within their country. So no, I would also definitely say there are lodges who are doing Ugandan prices, resident. They're even doing, we do Lodge Solutions, any lodge we work with, we have to have a Ugandan dish on the menu, standard. Whether it's for international guests or not, there's always a Ugandan option because one of the feedbacks you get is that the food in hotels is very muzungu and very literal.
Fancy.
It's too much. You give me my normal. Yeah, they're like, what?
But I want my mama talking.
Yeah, so we can do that. There's no lodge life is not as big as hotel life, which is maybe a bit more fixed. These lodges are
What you
able
should have done
to-
would have been to differentiate a hotel from a lodge, because
Yes.
that's not obvious to many people.
Absolutely. And also I
Right.
found out that the word lodge in Africa. Okay, in Kenya
It's
also
derogatory.
there's a way, yeah.
Derogatory. There's a
There's
negative
Conversation for another
connotation, right?
Yes, even staff tell you. My mother asked me which kind of lodge
Lodge.
am I going to work at,
That's
and I'm
right.
like, nah, that's not it's not that kind of party.
Yeah, when you start that conversation, will never end.
Yes, but yes, it's a good point.
But Explore Uganda is not just for Ugandans. There's the our logo, right? The Uganda Tourism Board says Explore
Explore
Uganda.
Uganda.
It's not just for non-Ugandans. Explore Uganda is first for Ugandans.
Uniquely
Ugandans.
yours. That's why they say uniquely
Explore
yours.
Uganda, please.
yours.
It's uniquely ours.
Yes. Hey,
And-
actually, you can
I'll
read
take
both
you
ways.
there.
Uniquely yours, uniquely ours.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap for this episode.
I don't know
for
which side to look, but yes.
I don't know,
Africa
I'm also
Tourism
thank you.
Expo. And
Are you there?
we've had everything from the ladies. It has been a pleasure hosting Nina and Sheila. And I think it's conversations like this that really move us and keep us moving, because we want to know what is happening right, what is happening wrong, where can we do better and all that, both the private sector and government.
True.
And for this year's POATE, we are dedicating these pieces for it, for government to learn from them, and also to pick lessons or to have conversations with private sector. And yes, it has been Destination 256, your go-to destination for all things tourism in Uganda, and I've been Zingazali, your host.
Oh.
Thank you.